society collapses then, you're in hard times. Well, hard iron sharpens iron, as they say, and those hard times inevitably produce men who are tough, men who are resourceful, men who are strong enough to survive. And then they go on to re-establish order, and so the cycle begins again.
So that is The End of Men, coming soon from Tucker Carlson. The End of Men is the title that they landed on. They were running with Finishing Off Men, but they figured that's a bit too on the nose.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
The End of Men, which
Ending
talks
the men.
about exactly, it is the need for strong men. And what is a strong man? Well, a strong man is a guy who like takes weird baths and suntans his scrot. I guess, Francesca. I guess strong men are ones with really tan sacks, I suppose. What do you think?
And drinks raw eggs. That's what those are. Like Gaston from Beauty and the Beast. Why can't we just get back to that? But Disney's canceled.
You're not supposed to drink like. We've learned things about nutrition in the last 40 years. That's so purposefully a throwback. They know that's not healthy.
Salmonella's for bitches, man. You like a real man? Real men don't get salmonella.
Kabul has just fallen. It might be worth asking the most obvious question of all. Why did the Taliban win? How did the 6th century triumph over the 21st century? There are indications that the single most notorious and reviled government in the world, primitive people famous for their brutality, rigidity, and humorlessness, are more popular in parts of Afghanistan than they were when we expelled the mullahs from Kandahar 20 years ago. They don't seem to be less popular. So how did that happen? What's the answer? We ought to pause to think about that. Let's not just blow past it like it was an act of God. It's not. What is the answer? Well, countries are very complicated, all of them, so there are likely many answers. But one of those answers may be that the population of Afghanistan has firmly rejected what our leaders were selling it over 20 years. It turns out that the people of Afghanistan don't actually want gender studies symposia. They didn't actually buy the idea that men can become pregnant. They thought that was ridiculous. They don't hate their own masculinity. They don't think it's toxic. They like the patriarchy. Some of their women like it too. So now they're getting it all back.
You've seen a lot of the takes. There's a lot of bad takes out there. There always are. There are in this. I'm not an expert on Afghanistan. I don't think that that's why. I don't think that any of that word salad there is on the top 500 reasons that the Taliban now controls Afghanistan. I don't think someone was like, man, I really don't want to return to like 1998 era Afghanistan, but hey, wait a second, is that theater hosting gender like studies speakers? Well, let me get the burqa. I don't think that that is why any of this happened.
So when Ted Lieu speaks, you're really seeing the Democratic Party's brain trust on display. And with that in mind, we wanted to bring you one of his recent pronouncements. This is a tweet, and it's in response to one of his colleagues, the Congressman Scott Perry. Now, Perry was making an argument we have often made because it's true. And that is that Democrats are using mass immigration to transform the country, to change who votes so they can control who wins. Ted Lieu was very annoyed that Scott Perry said this. And so he sent the following tweet, and he was clearly enraged as he did. Quote, "Dear Scott Perry, native-born Americans like you are no more American and no less American than an immigrant like me." Good point. We agree with that. And then he said this, "And with every passing year, there will be more people who look like me in the United States. You can't stop it. So take your racist replacement theory and shove it." In other words, you're being replaced and there's nothing you can do about it. So shut up. Luckily, with people like Ted Lieu in charge, they're not going to get a lot done. Guy's a moron.
The bit at the end was also very weird. That delivery was weird. But that laugh, like imagine if you were on an elevator with someone and they laughed like that. I would be like hitting buttons. I don't care if I have to crawl out. That was bizarre.
Yeah, it's like a demented Joker cackle. I feel like he's about like this is his like villain origin story where he becomes the ultimate form of himself, like a super villain, right? Like that cackle That is not like, that is terrifying.